their match against FNATIC. We'll begin with questions from the floor. Would anyone, one second.
Recording in progress.
We'll begin with questions from the floor. Would anyone like to line up at the mic and ask the first question? Thank you, Commend.
Hey guys, unlucky today. Trent, obviously you played the Teo on Lotus. Was there anything specific about the changes that made you think actually he is still viable? Or were you just kind of experimenting and thought, yeah, it still kind of works?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still kind of works. It's just team dependent. I think you have to play it the right way and just greed your missiles more, since that was the only change. You can't just double missile 3 times around. You got to save them and make sure you get the most value out of them. The drone and the stun is still the same. So,
okay, cool. Thanks. Unlucky guys.
Hi, sorry for your loss, guys. This is Fraser with a question from the VALORANT competitive Reddit community to Josh RT. This loss feels similar to the one in Bangkok, where you guys won Americas, showed a great level, but couldn't play at that extra level to win the tournament, despite the expectations from fans and the team. What do you think the team is lacking to finally win an international trophy?
Well, at this point, we can't say experience. I think there's levels to this, I think. And that's very apparent, where you got to be able to perform on the big stage. You got to have your awareness, your calmness, your poise. You got to be able to show energy to the crowd or to your own team. And as you guys see, that there's a common factor in all these teams in the Final Four, and now the Final Three, is that they're showmen, and they know how to play the game in a play to win fashion. They know how to take the right risk to just win it. And so that's what I noticed, I think, with the top 3. And I think that's something that we can strive to gain in our next tournament. So that's something I'll be thinking about. Obviously, there's a lot more. But yeah, I'll have to review and reflect to really have a really solid answer, but that's my immediate thoughts.
Thank you.
Hello, commiserations on the loss. Nerds here. This question goes to Valen. During the later rounds, there were a lot of moments of it seemed like a lot of moments of tension, as well as moments where you just weren't able to, get up to it. How are you guys feeling about, closing out some of the maps, especially on Lotus, when round 21, I think, where there was a couple of moments where, time was running thin, for example. So just the thoughts on the ends of the games, the ends of the maps for you.
I think for the most part, we played those end moments fine. I mean, the poise within the comms feel okay, sound okay. But sometimes when the clock runs late, you're more bound to make mistakes, and FNATIC is really good at exploiting that. But we were ready for it. We knew going into today the rounds were going to be long, longest BO3 ever, jokes, whatever. Yeah, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I felt like we felt okay in those moments, but one teeny mistake, just they capitalized on it. They were shooting hard. So every time you kind of gave them even a jiggle, Alpha or Kron were hitting the shot. So they were definitely keeping them in those series. I mean, those two dropped almost 60 kills, and we lost both pistols. It was 13-10, So I feel like we played fine. Those two were just, like Josh was talking about, they were ready to win today.
Well, commiserations on the loss. Thank you.
So I think it's a good match today. Obviously didn't go the way we wanted to. So my question for Jonah P. Having this tournament in Canada has obviously meant a lot to you and your family. Obviously didn't go the way you wanted to, but is there still good to take from having a tournament in your home country, in your location, in front of fans that are behind you?
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. I don't know when I'll get to experience this again. Just, when we're walking out to set up for stage, basically anytime we walk around, fans are always cheering for us, and We're very lucky, and fortunate to have this experience, and sucks that we can provide results for them, but yeah, I'll never forget this. Appreciate you all.
As a fellow Canadian, very proud of you. So,
Thank you.
I have one more question. When you have players like Alpha Year, like being the difference maker, I have my question for Valen, by the way. Like when you have players like Alpha Year, players like Chronicle being a difference maker, what's kind of like the game plan to try to shut them down, and like where do you think that aspect of the game went wrong today?
I mean, you can't. Like, even in all sports, all competition, the best players are always going to show out. It's all about trying to contain them a little bit. It's something that we've always talked about. We've kind of been known to be a team to be able to stop the star players, you know, especially the duelists. Like, we've been known to kind of contain duelist players, but you can only do so much. But you got to peek them together, trade, hit the shot, and accept when they have their rounds, because that's what they're here to do. That's what they get paid to do. So, yeah, I would say we struggled to contain them a bit on Lotus, but it's just like with any other team. I mean, when we play Texture, Aspas, like the best duels in the world, usually we put them on lower end games, and that's because we just have good fundamentals. So if we can do that, we can try our best, but these people are paid to, you know, have those numbers in the server. So congrats to them, and they played really well today.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe with VLR. This question is for really anyone on the team. Looking across the series, it was, I mean, overall really close. Split specifically, it kind of felt like there was a lot of back and forth, especially with the eco rounds, the thrifties and everything. However, at times it seemed like FNATIC kind of had the read, or at the very least, they were kind of expecting some of these pops, especially on the B site. Do you think that maybe the reason you guys lost Split today might have been because of that? Maybe they were adapting faster, or do you think it was more on the individual side from them?
I mean, we definitely had a game plan going into today that we tried to accomplish, but it's a failure on our part to not be able to adapt to the changes they made. Like the first time we attempted it, it felt like we more so messed up, and so we tried to do it again. But then we noticed, like, damn, they're actually keeping their heavy B, and so they got a couple good rounds from that. But I mean, that's competition, that's game plan. Like they changed some things up to kind of counter. So props to them for that. But we definitely had other moments. I mean, in the series to be able to take it. So we adapted fast enough, but they just got a couple freebies from that adjustment.
Thank you.
Hello, Gabriel Noda from AppTrigger. My question's to anyone on the table. I know it's a tough loss, but looking forward to the future of V2, you guys have already qualified for VCT champions. And I just want to know, heading into stage 2 and heading into Paris, what is the game plan looking like for G2, continuing the golden era?
Well, the plan is to continue to get better and try to dominate the region and eventually the international events. So the plan is the same as always.
Thanks so much.
Hi, Stage 2 and freelance journalist. My question is for Josh RT. So I know it was a really tough and difficult loss today, but you know, despite everything, you were still able to make a lower bracket run to not only qualify for champs, but make it to the top 4 phase. I know it might be really tough in this current moment, but what are some of the positive takeaways and new learning experiences that you've had in Toronto, and how you can just move forward to champs?
So I think this team we grew as usual. Whenever we go to these international events, we always get better, and we are exposed to different things, different styles of play, and I think that's always so important. That also explains why it's really hard to win at international events, because so many different styles of play. I feel like we always we're just gathering more and more evidence of that. Brazilians, that comeback that we had against Gen G, working through the lower bracket and attempting to make this run. But yeah, I mean, like, I feel like maybe in the outside it's hard to see because we just got 4th. But you know, internally we felt like, you know, it's step by step, brick by brick, we're going and moving, and it's going to be unstoppable.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We have 2 questions from the remote medium. We'll take the next question from FD News.
Hey guys, can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Well, my question is for Jogimo. Well, man, it sucks when you don't have the possibility to show how you really play during these two maps. But I want to know, in your perspective, how the team performed during this whole tournament as an overall.
I would say, yeah, we had like a slow start for first game we had against I forgot the team actually. But Apex. We were learning from them, figuring out why we were like, struggling on some certain things, figuring out our opens and stuff like that. XLG game kind of brought us back into like the form that we were looking for the whole international event. The team play, comms, everything, the strats. We all had it down. Even for the game after that for Gen G, like building that team trust, coming back against Gen G, learning that like, we're still a strong team, but just had some faults in our play, and then we actually brought it back finally, right? And then I'll say this game, I would say personally, it's like it's on me probably, I would say, even though the team probably won't say that. It's kind of hard. Like, yeah, you're a performer and you can't perform as well, or if you get picked off and keep getting picked off for like half the game, definitely takes a toll on you. But I'm pretty resilient. I don't really mind dying that many times. As long as I set people up for the success in the round, it's always been my goal for like any of my teammates I've ever had. So I think throughout this event we've grown a lot. There's still stuff to improve. There's still stuff for me to actually figure out what I have to do to perform at my highest, like have you seen? But it takes time. And yeah, this was a rough one for me. So yeah.
Thank you. And we'll take the final question from Arnab.
Hey guys, likewise commiseration on the loss. I'm here. My question is for Valen and Jordan. Tough loss, guys. But I want to know from you guys that I don't recall if you guys remember or not. But when the season started, I asked both of you the same question, that what were the end season goals, and you both said that we want to represent our team in the champions. Now that you guys have done that already, moving forward for stage 2 and champs, how the goals have shifted? Will the goals of the team have been shifted? And what's that thing that you guys will be taking from this loss to make it happen to win the champs, maybe?
So our goals at every single tournament or every start of the year is to win a trophy or win multiple trophies. And at the beginning of the year, I believe I told you I wanted to make champs. And now that that's locked, it feels like it's on to the next goal right away. And this team never, no matter what happens, never gets comfortable. We never feel like job's done. We never feel like, we did it, because we always strive to do more. And that's why we've been teammates for so long. That's why we've had success. And that's why, this team is something special. And although it sucks that we haven't won an international yet, the goal is always the same. And so for champs, it's just try to get better from this moment and go into that stronger and better G2 so that we can win the big one. And it makes me very motivated, because at the end of the year, everyone knows who wins champions. You think back to 2024, who was the best team? You think EDG. And I want to be that team. I really want to be that team that people will look back and say they were the best that year. And I feel like even though we can't prove that in this tournament, if we can go back or if we go forward and move on and win champions, then it's undisputed, So, we just have to get better at playing against the different styles and the different teams, because back home, the shit's too easy. And we need to just be able to put that same level of dominance on the international stage. And I think we can do it, but this time we didn't.
G2, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.